Okay. Let's take a quick look. It's 10 a.m., top of the hour. I see many people in the waiting room getting connected, so we're gonna wait one more minute and then we're gonna get started with this next webinar of HPE and TD Synnex combined. And today we're going to talk about HPE Compute Ops Management and how it can simplify your life. So let's just wait one more minute because I still see people connecting. So that's good. Thank you for your time joining us today, this morning. Gonna get started soon. We're gonna try to make it as interactive as possible. If you have any questions, the chat window is open, so I'll try to take a look at it during my presentation and otherwise definitely afterwards. And also at the end of the presentation, I'll share my email address and probably you have it already. And otherwise, yeah, of course, you can always contact your contact here at TD Synnex in Belgium or in the Netherlands, independent of where you are based. And so we can set up a short one-on-one call and where we can dive deeper about actually not only about compute ops management, but about all the HPE solutions, hardware, software, cloud management, anything, whatever. Okay, I see a lot of people connected. Fantastic. I'm gonna open up my chat window just in case that something shows up that I can answer that at that moment. The plan is, of course, like with most of all the other webinars that we organize, is that you will get a copy of the presentation that will be recording available as well. So, good morning, everybody. Compute Ops Management. What is it? It exists quite some time already. And then when I talk in my pre-sales role and in my architect role with customers, let it be HP partners or end customers, I still see a lot of people who doesn't know what is compute ops management, or maybe they know, but then they bought a server, a Gen 11, a Gen 12 server. In all those servers, it comes with compute ops management, with COM. From now on, I'm gonna call it COM, right? Um, and they don't enable it. And then I ask why. Yeah, don't really have an idea what we can do with it. Come on, guys. It's easy to set up and it will make your life easier. Yeah. And this is what I want to show you. And also all the new features that are being added. So the past months, the past year, if you attended a COM webinar 1, 2, 3 years ago, well, forget what I said because it changed a lot. Today we have AI, we have even Copilot in there today. So to make your life easier. And so COM is the result of the questions that we get or the feedback that we get from our customers. Actually, there is a reason. It's not that, hey, we have a cool product, please use it. No. COM is helping you with a lot of challenges. And yesterday and 2 days ago, I was in the Netherlands. Tomorrow, customer in Belgium, back again. Small, medium, large. But all those customers that I talk with, yeah, and it's not end customers only. For me, it's mainly HP partners, right? Um, I always get those same challenges, and they are in these three particular silos. The first one is infrastructure and security. Not everybody is in the full public cloud. They always have gear on site, and it's not going away, by the way. I see even more and more gear coming back, people coming back from the public cloud, coming to an on-premises private cloud. I'm thinking about security, control, performance, and now a new big thing is now sovereignty as well. Okay, so with sovereignty, people want to have it closer to them because you will be in control and not someone else who can push a button and disconnect you. But that's another discussion. We're going to have other calls about that, why that is important to have that private cloud experience. Now, anyway, we have that gear here. Let it be with VMware, with Azure Local, with our own VM Essentials and Morpheus Enterprise. We have multiple ways how we can your applications here. However, you have that gear, you need to verify, see the health, how good is it going, if something goes down, how quickly can I resolve this. Security is a big thing in the public cloud, but of course security is also a big thing in your own private cloud experience. So we need to update drivers, firmwares. Everybody is updating their laptops and their smartphones. Well, I hope, well, those servers and switches, that gear, you need to update it as well. And then I get that feedback. Hey, Bart, yeah, but yeah, I need the time and the people, the engineers, yeah, with that USB key to go on site or remotely through a VPN to update and to maintain all those servers and storage and networking. And I have a little fun story for those. I cannot see your ages here and your experience, but I can tell you Y2K 1999, yeah, was a big year, at least for me. Why? Me with three other colleagues, I was traveling across Europe. Every second weekend, I was somewhere in a city in Europe with 78 floppies. 78. Yep, it was 39 floppies of a, at that moment, very popular compact ProLiant 3000 server. And we were updating all the firmware and all the drivers for a big multinational company across Europe because there was a thing called Y2K, and the 31st of December 1999, something big would happen. Well, it didn't happen, probably because we were traveling around with all those floppies. By the way, 78, we had always a spare copy of a floppy because the internet wasn't that great today to download in a hotel room somewhere the latest firmware update of a novel netware running on a compact ProLiant server. Now that was 99. You cannot imagine that today anymore, that in 2026 you have an engineer, meanwhile with a USB key, driving around to all those edge locations. I'm thinking about a retail use case where you have a store in every city in Belgium or the Netherlands, and you need an engineer, a volunteer with a USB key to go on site to update that firmware and that driver and that operating system running on that server. Yeah, Bart, we have VPNs meanwhile. Well, of course, I have my laptop with all my VPN connections everywhere to maintain everything, but at the end, that laptop is a single point of failure, and also my attack surface, it became bigger because now my one laptop with my 50 VPN connections, well, my attack surface, think about security, think about risk management, and you are completely dependent of your VPN connection as well. If you break something, I don't know what, and you don't have an internet or a VPN connection, you lost completely control as well. So with the edge stories, it's not getting easier, because not everything today is not sitting in one data center anymore. People working a little bit from everywhere, and data that is being stored and generated with AI now treated a little bit anywhere. We have more edge locations. Well, we need a solution for that. Well, you will see that Calm is a solution there. The second one, because by the way, these are the three focus points in my presentation. The second one is about efficiency and time to market. A server that is delivered on site. Then I'm talking back again about a few years ago and many years ago. I'm doing this already for 30 years. At that time, when we sold a server, we had 2-3 days to go on site to install, configure, hook up that server. Today, you cannot imagine that anymore. That I sold you a server of a few thousand euros, and now you're gonna spend even more thousands of euros because I have to go on site and I need a whole week to set it up. No, time to market. It needs to go really fast. Right? With the public cloud to spin up a server, it takes minutes. Well, we expect today with the private cloud that also there it goes much faster. The hardware is the same. It's the software that will make this possible. Well, of course, we have Com, who is part of this to help you to get that faster time to market, to get more efficiency, all that repetitive stuff that you don't have to do that anymore. And then, of course, all this concludes into, of course, and no, we're not going to talk about the price increase of memory and SSDs because everybody is impacted with that. Okay, and it's not only about HPE and our fellow competitors who are making servers and storage as well, because it's a little bit everywhere, also on the consumer market, because SSDs memory is going up. I have no idea when it will stop. Yeah, it will stop when someone will pick in that AI bubble that will say, hey, it's a bubble and you don't need all those GPUs and megawatt data centers anymore to run your AI. But as long as people are creating funny stories and images and videos for on their socials, well, that's how you keep on running that AI and prices will go up. Unfortunately, well, this is where we can help as well with Calm, with that time to market, that we're going to give you that centralized tool for your management, for your deployment, that you can scale, that it's easy to scale your environment with all those edge locations. And then it's all about your IT resources. Yeah, that it's time is money so that your engineer, instead of being able to do one or three or two or three server updates, that they can now tens or maybe hundreds of updates, so that you and the engineers, that they can be more effective and more efficient. Okay, so that's the whole idea. We go way further than, oh, this is a feedback that I get. Oh, compute ops management. That's ILO in the cloud. I don't want that. I don't want to have my ILO in the cloud. Guys, no, no, no. It's way more than that. Let's take a look together of what we mean. So, like I said, I see small, medium, large customers with one servers, with 100 servers, with 5 VMs, with 50,000 VMs and everything in between. But what we see at the end, we can put all your customers somewhere here. We have one sorry, we have one location, one big data center. It can be your own data center, it can be a colo data center from someone else, but you decide where your servers are. And it can be a lot of servers, right? Most of the time in your data center, but today I see more and more distributed sites, so that far edge location with just a few small servers. I'm going to show you later. We have, for instance, a DL145, which is a server that is built, a purpose-built server for those edge, remote, far, far away locations where you don't have a nice data center with cooling and power and all that kind of stuff. So, and we have more and more of those edge locations, right? Which makes that, if we take a look at the management side, of course, it's very simple to manage one data center. I just have to open the door here. Here's my data center. I can see all the green lights and the red lights of how good or how bad that it's going. Well, if I have those far, far away locations, that retail store, or I'm thinking about maybe medical centers, you have those doctor posts or dentists offices. You're not gonna drive around and see how good or how bad it is, and the temperature and the power, and if something goes down, that it powers on nicely back again. So it can become quite complex for those multiple locations. Yeah, and this is where COM comes in. Because probably if you take a look at the management stack of HPE, it's quite simple. And by the way, I don't see that my camera wasn't done. Let's put some animation in there. Hi guys, this is live. This is not recorded. Yeah. So I was saying that if we take a look at the management stack portfolio of HPE, we have ILO. Yeah, so ILO, it's already there for plus 25 years. Integrated lights out. We can manage that server even if that server is down. There's a little server inside a big server. Yeah, it's a little chip. In the past, it was a big card. Now it's just a little tiny chip on the motherboard. But that's an on systems management tool. If you have a data center, and why do we say that it's simple? Because if you have one data center with multiple servers, we have a tool called OneView. And probably you heard or you are using already OneView. And by the way, OneView is not going away because this is also another rumor that I heard about, oh, Compute Ops Management, is replacing OneView. Nope, not at all. They are enhancing each other. I'll show you later on in the presentation that there is a COM One View edition, right? So it makes each other better because yes, One View is not going away. One View is still that on-premises control plane, One View on your data center. Now, of course, if I have a customer with 50 retail stores across Belgium and the Netherlands, well, I'm not going to deploy OneView for one or two servers, or I'm not going to deploy OneView in just one data center with always permanent on low latency VPN connections to those remote servers as well. This is where we HPE said we have an on-system management tool, ILO. We have an on-premises management tool. On-premises is OneView, and then we have an on-cloud tool. Well, that on-cloud tool is Compute Ops Management, and that's the one that will help you here. So the sweet spot for COM is here. Initially, it wasn't because here was OneView and OneView is there. However, I'll show you with the evolution of COM today. Well, there is a OneView COM edition, or I should call it COM, the OneView edition, right? And I'll show you how it works. But now, if you as a company, you are using Compute Ops Management, well, if you have OneView, you can hook them up together. And so now OneView is exchanging information with COM, and COM is exchanging information with OneView, right? Because now I know that we have two tools to update the firmware, for instance. Well, you can choose yourself. It's a luxury problem, right? It's not a problem that you have two tools. No, now you can choose which tool is for you the most efficient to update your firmware. And I think personally, if you are on site in your data center, keep on using OneView. But if you are working at home far, far away and there is a critical update that needs to be installed, well, you don't have to go to the data center because you can do it from where you are at home, or even if you are far, far away on holiday. Yeah, you can do that. You have full control, and that's the thing. We're giving you that control on your infrastructure. Yeah, so there you go. You will be able to manage your compute environment independent if it's in the data center, if it's across those distributed locations. Because yes, today now you see here a picture of a store. Um, Today, everywhere there are servers because they need security, they need secure Wi-Fi access. For that, you need to run a VM here and a little VM there. Well, you will see more and more of these sites. They have a little server, DL145, micro server, whatever, sitting underneath that counter. They don't have a 42U rack to put a DL380 in there. Well, for those distributed locations, we have the hardware, but we have also the software to deploy it, to manage it, to maintain it, and to troubleshoot it. And then, of course, in those edge locations, it doesn't have to be retail. We see more and more production sites as well, where we're gonna be using AI. We have a camera, and now we're gonna make that camera intelligent. Now, there are two ways for those distribution and production sites to make a camera intelligent. Or you buy an intelligent camera. I can tell you it is bloody expensive. And then every new AI model that gets updated to make that camera more intelligent, well, that means that you have to do a lot of updates of all those thousands of cameras in a production site. Or I can tell you there's a better solution. You buy a cheap dumb camera from just a few dollars on I don't know where, Amazon.com, whatever. Um, but then we have the software to make those cameras intelligent. By the way, HPE, we have partnerships with several software vendors where we have those appliances to make your cameras intelligent with their AI. Um, and at that moment, we're gonna install those cameras with the intelligence in that production facility. We're not gonna send all those thousands of high definition streams to a main data center and then make decisions and then send it back. That is ridiculous, right? Nope, we're gonna treat the data where the data is generated. So no matter where your data and your applications and your compute lives, we're going to manage it from anywhere because we are focusing here on compute. But let it be clear, for data, we have DSCC and DOM. We have COM, Compute Ops Management. But know that we have also DOM, Data Ops Management, right? So we can do, we have the same functionality for all your storage data solutions from HPE as well. So this goes way beyond only manage a server remotely from within the cloud. Okay, so that's why we're going to think about more than just managing that server and power on and shut down that server. Nope, we're gonna make that server even more secure. Remember, the server is already secure, and we have now ILO 7 in there with the silicon root of trust, with the secure enclave in there. Well, all that is also nicely integrated with the compute ops management. So we in the centralized console, we can see how secure your server is. If you have 1 or 10 or 100 or 1,000 servers, we're going to automate. And we're not going to send an engineer with a USB key around a little bit everywhere to update those servers and push buttons. No, we're not going to do that anymore. Now we're going to create a group with all your servers and you say, oh, that server is out of date or not compliant. So compliancy is in here for instance, the security. Well, if we see that the secure compliancy is not okay anymore, well, fix it and we're going to automate it. Independent if it's 1, 10, 100, 1,000 servers in one location or in 1,000 locations. Yeah, with one action, with one button, we can make your life easy. And by the way, we have already, and I'll show you the numbers later, but we have a lot of devices already connected up to the COM platform where we can see at that moment, and we're talking with customers, where customers, these are actual numbers from customers, where they say we spent up to 75% less time in managing servers. And we have less downtime per server per year. So that means, hey, that's a good thing. My applications are more working and I have less support calls because you know what happens when the server is down. People start calling, right? Hey, I cannot access my application anymore. Yeah, so you're helping also your service desk and your support engineers. And look at those travel costs that are being saved. You don't want to know how much they spent to send me and my colleagues. I can tell you, I was in a hotel room somewhere because we didn't have VPNs at that moment in 1999, but I was in all the nice cities that you can imagine: Rome, Barcelona, Madrid, Paris. I was everywhere. Right? I didn't visit the city. I was in the data center with 78 floppies updating. Yeah, that was fun at that time. Believe me, 2026, this is not cool anymore. Right? I have other more fun things to do. I want to visit that city and not being a Saturday and a Sunday in an office all alone by myself in the dark. So, third pillar, it's validated, it's hands-on tested, right? Because we have those 10,000s of servers connected already, we are running AI on it, so we can see if this is a good solution, if this is a good fit, if this is a supported configuration. I'm thinking about alerts. We get also fake alerts. Well, now with the AI ops that is inside COM and the GreenLake portal, because by the way, Compute Ops Management is one of the tools in the GreenLake cloud portal. Okay, so GreenLake is the cloud experience of HPE. We have a really cool portal where we can manage your servers and your storage and your networking and then your cloud environment, private cloud environment. We have way more things in there. Also sustainability for customers, for companies who are who need to be compliant, who are following those regulations on sustainability, on power consumption and CO emissions and so on. Well, I'll show you at the end. I can show you for my environment how much power that I'm consuming. I'm never happy to see that. But also CO emissions and so on. We have those views in there, sustainability views. We have security checks. We have quite some information in there that helps you as well. And it's not only us, but there are third-party companies who did testing, who are comparing as well with some other vendors' competitive solutions, where they say, yeah, we get way more feedback. We have way more control compared to other solutions in the market as well. So let's dive deeper in that. Okay, so challenges from companies that we met about security, about the automation. First thing, when you get in, this is what you get. Okay, hey, I recognize one view. Well, I told you it's not one view, but at least we want to give you the same experience like one view, because one view is my on-premises data center management tool, while COM goes way beyond one view, not in features. It's not replacing one view, but at least to give you that dashboard, that one view, but across all those locations. Now, this is of course the US, but imagine that you have all those 50 retail stores across Belgium and the Netherlands. You have a world map, you log in, you see that map of Belgium and the Netherlands and maybe in France and Germany as well. You have all those locations where you have servers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 servers. And then you can see instantly if it's green, green is okay. Yellow, there's a warning, it's okay, but there's a warning. And of course, if it's red here at the bottom here in, what is that? That's Texas, if I can see correctly. Well, I don't want to be in Texas because there are 2 servers with a critical state at risk. Okay, so I expect some phone calls from Texas, and at the east and the west coast, at least there, everything is green at this moment. So nicely, you can see the health status of your environment. You can see I have 80 servers, which are okay, 2 critical and 9 in warning. And if I take a look at the security configuration, well, also there are a few of them which are not okay that I need to take a look at. And then on the compliancy level, when I'm thinking about firmwares, we're going to make those baselines just like OneView does here as well. We have those firmware baselines. The only thing is, in OneView, you have to upload that firmware and you have to create that baseline. Here, you don't have to do it. COM, it's in the cloud portal of GreenLake. We know perfectly for your Gen 10 and Gen 11 and Gen 12 server and a DL and an ML server, and even we support Edgeline today and Apollo servers, so and Electra 4000 servers. So we support all those small, medium, large servers as well. As long as it has an ILO, we can see it's that server and there is a firmware update, yes or no. So you don't have to go to the support portal to check if you have to run an update, yes or no, because we're going to tell you, hey, this is the baseline. You have some critical patches that you need to install. So you can move way faster as well. Okay, so let's take a quick look at that security. Well, I told you that, or you should know at least, that a ProLiant server since Gen 10, that is already 6 years old, guys. ILO 4, 5, 6, now ILO 7, we have silicon root of trust. We're not gonna power on that server if that firmware of that motherboard is not fingerprinted, yeah, with our fingerprint from HPE, and that fingerprint is not sitting somewhere in a TPM that can be compromised. Nope, it's sitting in the silicon, okay, in the hardware. And so we can see that the firmware that you're running at that moment, we will power on that server, and then you can secure boot your operating system and run securely all your applications. We have things like multi-factor authentication. We have single sign-on. We have role-based access control. We have encryption of your data on the disk. So it's an end-to-end, your complete life cycle of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years that you are running your server. We can guarantee that security throughout the life cycle of that server. I told you something about that. We were the first one, and even after all those years, we're still the only one who have that silicon-based security. So it is immutable, yeah, unless you're really good with the soldering iron and you know which chip it is on the motherboard. Good luck. With Secure Enclave, it's tamper resistant now as well. With ILO 7 in our Gen 12 servers, we upgraded that security as well on compliancy level. We're the first ones to support FIPS 140-3. It's quite important in the US, but it shows you how far that we are actually. And we're also today the industry only one with the quantum threat protection that one day quantum computing will be coming. Well, at that moment, yeah, there will be quite a lot of security challenges. We are ready for that as far as we can see where it is going. We are ready for that with Gen 12 and ILO 7. So again, Gen 12, it's way more than just, it's a new Intel and a new AMD CPU. No, no, no. We're raising the bar on everything, on way more than only performance. Yeah. And so this is why as well, like I told you on ILO, we have that security status that is telling you, hey, password complexity, it's not on. Well, we advise you to enable password complexity. SNMP, no one is using SNMP anymore, but by default it is on. Well, please disable it. Also secure boot. Well, please use secure boot. Well, these are all recommendations that you can say, I'm okay, yes or no. But that's on one ILO. But what if you have 50 servers across all those retail locations everywhere? Well, at that moment, Compute Ops Management will give you this one donut, this circle that will tell you, I have, this is not so good. 0 servers that are okay. 1 ignored the risk. So there's an administrator who clicked ignore. Do you really want that? There are 4 at risk, and there are, by the way, 19 unknown. That means that we didn't enable COM, by the way, so we're not getting the information from your server. So there's also something that you need to take a look at. So for the security officers, so if you're a big company and you have a security officer, even that security officer will love compute ops management. It's way more than just an ILO or one view in the cloud. No, it is a security and a compliancy tool. Why? Security starts at the device. We help you with that with Silicon Root of Trust, with the Secure Enclave. We're going to connect it with the platform, with the GreenLake Cloud. And now you're going to tell me, yeah, Bart, you also have a VPN connection. So if I'm putting on that VPN connection or HPE is doing it, I completely agree. However, at the other side, it's not you who is responsible, but now it is HPE who is responsible. And believe me, HPE doesn't want to give you a solution that is not trustworthy. Meanwhile, we have millions of devices connecting with the GreenLake Cloud. Every Aruba access point, Aruba switch, ILO, every Alletra storage is connecting with the GreenLake Cloud. HPE is responsible. And if HPE doesn't trust their own solutions of setting up a secure environment, you don't want to go there. Yeah, so believe me, it is secure, it is tested. There's a permanent team at HPE validating the security of your platform. And then, of course, we have compute ops management, where we go all the way. And by the way, for those who know the OSI layer, well, guys, at the 7 OSI layers, we have control on everything, right? So, and that's an important one. I told you about that connection. Yeah, so I have site 1, site 2, site 3 with some ILOs, with ProLiant servers. Well, HPE is going to make that secure connection from within the hardware. You don't have to configure anything. Yeah, it is from within the hardware in the ILO. We're going to make that secure connection to the Green Lake portal. So we have the Green Lake portal with compute ops management in there, and we're going to exchange all that telemetry data. We're not exchanging data, we are GDPR compliant, but we are exchanging telemetry, performance, health, security data. And then you, being the administrator, also, because by the way, most of the threats are here. It's not here, but it's actually here. And so that is why if an admin or an operator or an observer, because we have role-based access control, I can give you read-only or read-write, and I can perfectly say, well, you can manage that server in Belgium and you are responsible for the Netherlands, or you are responsible for Antwerp and you are doing it for another city, whatever. Yeah, so we have role-based access control, we have multi-factor authentication, we have multiple things to avoid you, to block you of getting access to that platform, of course, right? So it's from everywhere. Okay, I see a lot of people, yeah, we are secure, the front door, there are 3 locks on there, but then the back door is open or the window is open. No, no, everywhere, this is a really secure platform. And just to give you an idea how that works, so I have here my server, technically, and by the way, for the people who are really interested in security, know that I have a dedicated presentation, a tech talk, and a PowerPoint specifically about that security, how secure it is. But for the techies, really quickly, so I have a server with an ILO. I have my proxy to go to the internet through a firewall. We're going to exchange a device certificate, and that certificate of that device will be sent to the Green Lake portal. At that moment, the Green Lake cloud platform will validate that certificate, that it's a certificate of HPE, that it's not tampered by someone else. We're going to look up that customer with that COM instance, and then we're going to say, yep, I know you. And you are allowed to make a connection with COM. So before you make a connection with COM, first you're going to authenticate with the Green Lake platform. Before you're going to actually do something, we HPE, we're going to look at, are you an HPE device, and wasn't that firmware already tampered by a bad guy who tries to get in? Only at that moment, if GreenLake says, yep, we trust you, at that moment there is another certificate that will be exchanged with COM. And now with that certificate, that ILO will be able to communicate with the COM instance, and then we're going to say, yep, we're going to manage you. So it's a multi-layer security protection, and then we're going to accept it, and then only then in the ILO you will see connected successfully. Now this looks very complex, guys. To set this up, I have a video on it. It takes less than a minute. Takes less than a minute. Logging onto the GreenLake platform with a multi-factor authentication takes longer than connecting an ILO with a compute ops management. Now, I'll always get that question. I still don't see any questions in the chat window, so I keep on going. Of course, if I have that data center with 10, 20, 50, 100, 1,000 servers, of course, we don't want that we're going to have thousands of these connections with certificates going on and back. No, at that moment, we're going to optimize this as well. So we added a secure gateway. Okay, so know that is a secure gateway. And for people who remember in the past, we had also that ILO amplifier dashboard, which was very similar. I don't say that this is the amplifier dashboard, but at the other side, it's very similar. It's a proxy, it's a gateway. What will happen is this is a little VM, so you can run a little VM virtual machine on site, and instead of having all those 10, 20, 50, 100 servers connecting individually with the GreenLake platform, well, we're going to make a connection of all those ILOs with the secure gateway within the boundaries of your data center and your firewall. And then it's only one connection through your firewall that will connect to compute ops management. So also know that secure, it exists already more than a year, but still a lot of people don't know that this exists to enhance your security. By the way, I'm going to show you in a minute that there's a nice new cool feature with that secure gateway. Stay tuned. So when we talk about cloud, it's all about the security model. Well, we have a shared security model here as well. So we have the green one is HPE. Of course, at the bottom one, that's you are still responsible for the physical access to the server, for the operating system and the applications that they are secure. HPE is not end-to-end responsible for the end-to-end security, but up to a certain level, the onboarding, the user management, there we have that shared security model as well. And I told you at that moment, what are we gonna see? Once that it's set up, we're gonna tell you how compliant, how good you are. But what's the advantage? You don't have to log into each server, to each ILO to see how good or how bad that it goes. So in a minute, in the dashboard, you can see that as well. This helps in all your compliances. So like I said, there are a lot of certifications like SOC and FIPS and SSDF and way other certificates out there will help you to be certified in compliance with them. The second one is an automation. Let's take a quick look. Well, like I said, with Calm, initial server setup, I think getting the box out of the box, the server, putting it in a rack, power cable, network cable is the heaviest job that you're gonna do. What we're gonna do, we're gonna power on that server, we connect to ILO, we're gonna say connect with GreenLake. Once that it's connected, at that moment, we're going to make a policy. Hey, this is a policy for all my VMware servers or my Windows servers or my cloud servers, whatever. And then we're going to assign that server to that group. So you create a group, takes a minute, you got to give it a name, functionality, settings. It goes quite far because we can even say that, where's my mouse here? We can even say that that operating system needs to be deployed on there, and that firmware baseline needs to be installed, and that RAID controller needs to be configured with 2 disks in RAID 1 and 5 disks in RAID 5. And these are the security parameters. So all that is put in a policy, and that policy is assigned to a group. And at that moment, if you plug in your power on that server, COM will take care that that server is updated. So you as an engineer, you don't have to do anything anymore except those 3 steps. And these 3 steps takes less than 5 minutes. If you have 1, 10, 50, 100 servers, 5 minutes. Yeah. And just connect that server in that group and they will take care of that. No floppies, no USB keys, no F11, go in the BIOS, change this parameter, that parameter, and so on. Nope, if it's 1 or 1,000 servers, 5 minutes. And getting that server out of the box will be the heaviest job that you're going to do that day because everything is automated. Yeah, and then he will tell you like this here, you will see that progress bar. Initially, that server is out of date, not compliant. Then it will power on, it will automate everything, update, configure the BIOS settings, everything for you. And at the end, after maybe 1, 2, 3 hours, you will see that your servers are in a more secure state and that they are completely compliant without you doing anything because everything is automated through compute ops management. Now, what is cool, I just told you about that secure gateway. Now, look at that, because I get quite some questions about that. Yes, we can also monitor third-party servers. Now, I know that the Dell server doesn't have an ILO, it's called a track. And we're not going to connect that track with the GreenLake Cloud Portal. No, we're not going to do that, right? However, if you're using that secure gateway, which is just that little VM for free, you run it locally in your data center on your hypervisor. We support Hyper-V, VMware, and KVM, so VM Essentials is supported as well today. If you have that secure gateway, you can connect your Lenovo server and your Dell server and your Supermicro server. You connect that with our secure gateway, and at that moment, through GreenLake COM, Cloud Compute Ops Management, you can also do, and hold on, we're not gonna put all this fancy stuff in a Dell and a Supermicro server and a Lenovo server, but at least basic actions like power on, power off, reset, cooled, boot that server. Yep, we can do that as well. I know nobody's perfect. Everybody has a Dell or a Lenovo server somewhere sitting. Well, with COM and the secure gateway, we can do those basic management tasks as well with Compute Ops Management. So you don't have to call that customer anymore, far, far away in the north of the Netherlands there. Far, far away. Yeah, that server is down. Please push that button, please. Nope, you don't want that anymore. You do it yourself, so we can even control third-party hardware. Yeah. Other integrations, because since we're using the GreenLake Cloud Platform, we have way other integrations. We have VMware integration, we have OpsRamp integration, ServiceNow if you have applications, web-based applications who are supporting webhooks. Yep, you can do that as well. Another nice one, I think personally myself, you always love to call a help desk. And you arrive at level 1 and they're going to ask you those 50 questions. And then if you're lucky, you go to level 2 and on level 2 will ask you for more log files because they don't trust you with those 50 answers. And then finally it goes to level 3. Well, guys, you don't have to do that anymore because now as well, just like with storage, we have automatic support case creation. If you connected your server with COM and there is a support contract active behind it, please register your support contract. Yeah, but at that moment, if a disk breaks or a memory DIMM breaks, that moment you don't have to call them anymore because HPE will create that support case for you and they will contact you before you are aware that there is a bad disk in that server. Also an advantage of Compute Ops Management. I told you, since it's a cloud management portal, the GreenLake Cloud Platform, of course, we can put AI in there. So you will see now as well that we have some AI insights on sustainability and on server utilization. Hey, the last month, we saw that server running approximately across 10% CPU and 20% memory, and now it's way up. This is normal, or maybe this is not normal. Yeah, and if it's not normal, well, at that moment you will get an alert as well. One of the examples might be ransomware, sustainability, because that has impact on the power consumption. So also on energy consumption, carbon emissions, and then the final cost of everything. It needs to be cooled as well in your data center. We have those sustainability insights as well. It's all part of that COM subscription that comes together with your Gen 11 and Gen 12 server. Yeah. So you don't have to pay anything for that. So you have that dashboard in here. You will see at that moment from your one server, your 10 servers, your data center, your one location, your 50 locations, you will get these kind of views. And then you can see, for instance, that the CO emissions, that they are way higher in a Gen 9 and a Gen 10 server compared to a Gen 12 server. So actually, COM is also a sales tool. So if there are salespeople in the room here, COM will help you to sell a new server in 3, 4, 5 years. Because we can prove that power consumption on a Gen 12 server is way less compared to the Gen 9 server. Yeah, and I know that Gen 9 server is a great server. It's 8 years old, but it's a great server. But I think my smartphone today is faster than the Gen 9 server and it's consuming way too much electricity as well. Inventory reports. You don't have to send an engineer anymore on site to run an inventory report because now we get a perfect view of what is installed in that environment of that customer. And then we're going to take a look not to the Gen 11 and 12 servers, we're going to take a look at those Gen 10 servers who need to be replaced, right? So all that information is part of it in there. Now, this is also a quite new thing since a few months, server utilization insights. So now, not with the old servers, but with the new servers, we can see now as well CPU, memory, and the I/O bus, the PCIe bus utilization as well. Again, we're going to put AI on it, do trending, and then we can see this is normal and this is not normal. And if something happens which is not normal, you will get an alert. Okay? So, as you can see, it's not calm, remote ILO, cool. No, we're making this tool, this platform, better and better. About the firmware updates, I think this is a big thing. Definitely, it makes my life easy. I don't have to go to the support portal anymore to see for my DL345 server what is the latest firmware. Nope. Com will tell you, hey Bart, there are 3 updates. There's a new update, there's a critical update. Click here. You don't have to download that SPP service pack for ProLiant 6.8 gigabyte. You don't have to download it anymore and then mount it through a USB key on that server. Nope. This server, 3 updates. Install. He will download those 3 updates, only the 3 ones that you need, and he will update that server for you as well. Know that there is a VMware vCenter integration. What does that mean? Yeah, if you have 2-3 servers, he will put that server in maintenance mode. All the VMs will go over to the other side. Then he will reboot that server. He brings the server online back again. He removes the maintenance mode. And then he goes further with the second one. And then finally, he does the third one as well for you. So you have those staged upgrades. All nice features in one view. Guys, this is also happening in COM today. And like I said, yeah, if you don't have a Copilot, you're not cool. Yeah, so know that in the latest version now, we have a Copilot where you can ask questions. What's the difference? You can do it in a natural language. You can say, and there are some videos out there. I'm not going to show those videos. You can find them on the HPE website. But now you can say, hey, give me a list of all the ProLiant servers who are out of compliancy with firmwares. These kind of things, right? So you don't have to run a report or run a query yourself and click everywhere. You just ask the Copilot, yeah, what do I need to do? Which server is okay and which server is not okay? These kind of things. So know that is being added as well in that Copilot. So by the way, you get a copy of the presentation. So there are here some example in here, right? What are the ports that I need to open to connect my ILO to COM? Can you tell me which servers show critical health status? These kind of things. Show me the servers who are running at plus 90% CPU utilization, right? So know that this is possible now as well. These are all features being added to compute ops management. I told you about as well at that moment, we have those policy approvals. You can create policies on groups, and then you can say, hey, I want multi-layer protection and acceptance approval. Well, this is also possible as well. It's not because you are the administrator of a server that you can update the firmware, these kind of things. Yeah, so it goes quite far. Active health system, probably you know that. It's already part a long time in ILO to help your support experience. Well, until now you had to download that file and then upload it to the support team. Well, now with Compute Ops Management, you don't have to do that anymore because that AHS file is directly available in COM, and then you can give access to the HPE support team, right? So also there, that support experience will become better and better. I told you about ILO 7 with the secure enclave, the quantum resistancy, and so on as well. New tools being added in ILO on the hardware, but all this has an impact as well on Compute Ops Management in my GreenLake portal. I have some examples about then the supportability announcements. I think this is a very important one in your 5, 6, 7 years experience of using an HP ProLiant server is that those log files are uploaded automatically. You get a better experience. By the way, now as well, we can see based on the serial number, HPE will tell you in advance now about the warranty status. You will get an alert. Hey, watch out! In 3 months, the warranty and the support expires of that server. So please do something, right? Extend that support or that service contract, support contract of that server, or replace the server with a new one, even better, right? Hardware support. Initially, it was the most popular servers. Today, the legacy Apollo servers, which are called ProLiant XL. We have, by the way, also Alletra 4000, which are supported. Yep, they're all being added in here. Gen 11, Gen 12. It's part, COM is part of it. If you have a Gen 10 server, then it's a subscription, 1, 3, 5 years. And there's even now, because there are more and more people asking for it, yep, there's a 7-year SKU available as well. In the past, you needed a fan override, so an exception that needed to be asked to HP. That is not applicable anymore today either. And like I said, this is a nice overview of all the things that you can do. Today, it's way more than just, it's way more than ILO connected to the cloud. Nope, security, lifecycle management, the deployment, the support, the monitoring, the analytics in there. There are way more functions. And I can tell you, I saw the roadmap. There's even way more things coming. One important thing is that I can advise you, well, stop managing your management tool OneView running on premises. Well, you need to update OneView, and that's one of the challenges of a lot of customers as well. Since COM is running in the cloud, you don't have to update it. I advise you at the top here, click on that little icon, and it will tell you there, that bell icon. You will see that every month there is an update. So every month there are things being added to the Compute Ops Management portal as well. So it keeps on getting better every month as well. So click on that little bell icon. Also, there's a documentation, that little booklet, right? If you click on that one, everything is nicely documented there as well. Okay, so please use those benefits of what we call a modern management tool. Stop managing your monitoring and your management tools. HPE will do it for you. You just have to use it, and you will be much more efficient by using that dashboard. And like I said, the more locations that you have, the funnier this picture will be, and the more productive that you will be doing. So I think that I covered most of these categories, by the way. A few final things. I'm looking at the time as well, but I'm mainly through. The latest integrations is also with the data environment. So if you have HPE data solutions like Alletra or StoreEasy, well, they are managed through DSCC. Well, you will see DSCC and COM, they can be connected together. If you have Aruba switches and Aruba access points, at that moment you can manage them through Aruba Central. Well, you can connect Aruba Central with Compute Ops Management. And then you can see that port of that ProLiant server is connected to that port in that Aruba switch. So you can see now end to end. In the troubleshooting, this can be a handy one. It's always cool to say, hey, my network is slow, but now you can go to the network guy and say, well, my server is connected to that port in that Aruba switch. Yeah, so these kind of things, we give more insights beyond compute actually, right? And so these are then, like I said, the most popular use cases. For instance, retail, healthcare, production sites, data centers, of course, as well. Because then this is the final one here. Indeed, about the supported platforms. So we have ProLiant, we have Edgeline, which are the ruggedized servers outside the data center. We have Alletra 4000, the StoreEasies that you can have. You can manage them through COM as well. This is a really cool server, the DL145 Gen 11 today. That's the one that you can install everywhere. right? It's not a rack server. You can install it on the wall, underneath a desk. It supports more temperatures from -5 up to 55 degrees, so it doesn't have to be an air-conditioned data center. So this is the server that you can have a little bit everywhere. It is silent. There's a dust filter in there, so every 6 months you can go with your vacuum cleaner to clean that dust filter. But also this one can be managed completely through compute ops management. And then, by the way, people are making fun of it about that dust filter. But with ILO, you can see the filter status. So in CALM, you can see how good or how bad, how much dirt, how much dust that is in that filter actually. Yeah, hey, this is cool, believe me. Yeah. And then, yeah, I mentioned this already then about the multi-vendor monitoring through the secure gateway that we can see now as well. Your Dell, Lenovo, Supermicro servers through their BMCs that we can connect with them. And yeah, kind of cool. So, yep, these are the last slides indeed. Perfect timing. So remember, Gen 11, Gen 12 servers. They come with Compute Ops Management. It is a subscription. If you have customers with Gen 10 servers and you want to be using CALM, well, contact us. We can give you that SKU to have CALM. It's really cheap. It's not that expensive. To connect your Gen 10 and Gen 10 Plus server with CALM as well with Gen 11 and 12, you just have to enable it. Yeah. And so please use the tool. Stop managing the management tools, but start really using and managing your environment. By the way, like I said, we have hundred thousands of subscriptions sold, counting, being connected, more than 100 countries that are supported. Actually, it's every country where we have the Green Lake platform. But I can tell you in Western Europe, all of them are supported by the way as well. Guys, I keep on checking the chat window and I will stay online as long as there are people here. If you have more questions afterwards, after this call, I hope it was useful. At that moment, here's my email address and the email address from the Belgian team. Hold on, I will put here the Dutch team email address in here as well. But so probably you know them anyway. So if you have any questions, please contact us. Let us know if you want demos, if you want deep dives, if you want to know how to get started with your own environment. Well, you know where to find us. Thank you very much for your time and see you for one of the upcoming webinars about more great technologies and tools from HPE. Bye-bye.
Art, je bent er nog?
Okay, I get a good question in the chat window from Patrick. Very good. You get come-ups with the Gen 11 and 12 server for how long is that? Is that for 1 year and then you have to extend it? Well, it depends. If you buy that server with 5 year support, then you will get 5 years of COM as well. So it depends on the support contract that you buy with that server. So most people buy 5 years. Um, And that's why you have at that moment 5 years as well. As you paid attention, there's even a 7-year available on select servers.